Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanubhishtam Purnam Radha Dasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyam Burupa Manjari Prishtakam Patita Pavana Karuniyam Yugacharya Narayanam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tuise Namaha. Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismera Hasara Murali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priyam Vrindayai Tulasi Deviyai Priyayai Keshava Sacha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyayai Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. So first of all I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradhyatama Sri Guru Pada Padmo Nitalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, and to all the our spiritual masters from past, present and future, and to all the assembled guests here today, my most humble obeisances. So as a part of our tradition, we begin first honoring our spiritual master. So this is my spiritual master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, who was one of the most important spiritual preceptors of this modern age. And he was awarded the title of Ambassador for Peace in UK in 2003. In 2005, in New York, he was awarded with the title The World Peace Flame. And then the most special one, also in 2005, the title Yuga Acharya, means the spiritual preceptor of the millennium. This particular title or award was actually created for him. It was given by the World Religious Parliament situated in Delhi, and also by the Brajapit Association, which is from all the spiritual leaders of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the city of Krishna. So that only is somehow an indication that Srila Gurudev is a very special personality who actually came to this world to deliver us and to help us to cross this material, ocean of material life and be able to, somehow achieve our spiritual perfection. So whatever I am sharing with you today, it's definitely coming from him and coming by him, by his mercy only. There's nothing on my own account here. So saying that, let us begin talking about Vedanta. So Vedanta was actually manifested by Krishna himself. Who is Krishna? He's the supreme personality of Godhead. He's God himself according to the Vedic culture. So many people think the Vedic culture has so many gods, but in fact it is not. It has only one God. It's a monotheistic religion. But that same God, He himself will appear in so many different ways. But there is only one God, and that God is Krishna. Okay? So Krishna, He's the one who is the source of all the Vedic knowledge. At the same time, He's the one who is being spoken about in the Vedas. And He's the one who is able to give us the proper understanding of the Vedas. That is called Vedanta. Vedanta is a combination of two words, Veda and Anta. Veda means all the Vedic knowledge, and Anta means the conclusion, means the essence. Because the Vedas will speak about so many different types of subjects. Even in the spirituality itself, there are so many different layers or stages of spirituality, or even different types of religions present in the Vedic culture. So Krishna, He is also clarifying what is the essence, what is the best, what is the cream of that Vedic knowledge. So in Bhagavad Gita itself is being told, Vedescha sarvairaham eva vidyo Vedanta krid veda vid eva chaham. Krishna said, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. In all the Vedas I am to be known. I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. A very important point to mention here regarding the Bhagavad Gita. I just gave a lecture about Bhagavad Gita in another place earlier today, and one person was there. She came from that place, and I was mentioning that one of the key points of Bhagavad Gita is that Krishna himself as God have come in this world. Different than any other religion, that their God has never appeared in this world, Krishna appeared. And from his own mouth, he delivered this knowledge to Arjuna. And this knowledge has been kept for us in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is a very important thing for us to reflect upon. Any other religion, be it Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, whatever, Islam, their gods never came in this world. There was never a direct manifestation or revelation of those gods. But the Vedic culture God appeared, that is Krishna. He came 5,000 years ago. Not only him, many of his own expansions as avatars, they also came in this world. So this is a great mercy for all of us, and this is something that makes the Vedic culture very, very special. Okay? Then in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna said, Aham yogasya sangyasya satya sartasya tejasaha parayanam dvija shrishtaha shriya kirtir damasya. Know that I am the supreme shelter of the yoga system, analytical philosophy, Sankhya, equanimous vision, pleasant speech, influence, beauty, fame, and self-control. So here Krishna says very clear, I am the source of all yogas. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, he describes so many types of yogas. Even the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali also came from Krishna. Patanjali, he did not create the Ashtanga Yoga. He only compiled some knowledge which was scattered here and there from Gita, from Bhagavatam, from other sources. He just compiled and he systematically presented that. But the origin of Ashtanga is also Krishna. Okay? Okay, now let us know a little bit before about Patanjali. Patanjali, he very often is depicted with like the snakes, actually one snake with many heads behind him. Why is that? Because Patanjali, he is actually the incarnation of Anantashesh, which is this huge snake which has thousands of hoods, right? So how that happened? Once, Lord Shiva, he was dancing to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu was like this. He was lying on the bed of Anantashesh on the causal ocean, and he was watching the dance of Shiva. Shiva, he dances what? The asanas of yoga, the mudras, right? Very beautiful, very ecstatic dance. So Mahavishnu, he was feeling very ecstatic. He was feeling so much bliss by seeing Shiva dancing. And he was getting so heavy that Anantashesh could not float anymore. Then when he was about to touch the water, Shiva stopped dancing. Then again he became lighter and again he was able to float. So after seeing all this situation, Anantashesh became very amazed by all these things. And then he asked Lord Mahavishnu, saying, "My Lord, what is that so special in Shiva's dance that you became so much ecstatic? I have never seen you like this. So I want to be able to learn this dance. And not only that, I want to teach each and every person about this dance so they can please and make you also very blissful." Then Mahavishnu said, "Okay, so be it." Immediately he gave him the blessing to come in this material world. So at that time there was a very powerful yogini taking bath in the Ganga river and doing her puja. So as she was taking the water from Ganga to offer as a puja, then one small snake appeared on her hand. As she took this snake out, that snake became one baby. And that is how Patanjali appeared. So in this way, Patanjali, he is actually none other than Anantashesh, which is the 1,000-hood snake. So in this way, he come and he make in a very systematic way the process of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. Okay? Then we have Charak. Charaka Maharishi, he is the compiler of the Charaka Samhita or the system of Ayurveda. In the same way, he is also not the creator of Ayurveda. He is also only the compiler. The one who manifests Ayurveda is Dhanvantari Avatar. Dhanvantari Avatar is also avatar of Krishna. So Ayurveda is also a very divine science that was revealed to us. So Charaka Maharishi, he is compiling this knowledge and he is presenting to us in the same way that Patanjali did. So how Ayurveda works? First, disease prevention, treatment of diseases, increase of vitality, and expansion of consciousness as yoga through samadhi. So that's our main point here, that Charaka, he is making very clear that health achieves its perfection once you are in samadhi. Then in the Charaka Samhita, he describes different types of therapies. First, Deva Vyaparashraya, spiritual therapies, as sacrifices, offerings, auspicious recitations like mantras, prayers. This is the spiritual side. Then therapies for the mind, Sattva Vajaya. Counseling means what we call nowadays as psychology. Yoga, meditation, knowledge of Vedic scriptures, mind control, memory of experience, and samadhi. Okay? So all these techniques are related to the mind. Therefore, the first object of the practice of Ashtanga Yoga is to control the mind. I'm going to explain that later on in the definition of yoga given by Patanjali. Okay, now before we continue, it's very important to understand these three concepts, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas means the three gunas, the three modes of material nature. The whole universe, the whole material universe is made out of these three energies. Sattva means goodness, Rajas means passion, and Tamas means ignorance. Okay? Everything in this world is the interaction between these three energies, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna said, the gunas produce three varieties of scriptures, water, population, place, time, action, birth, meditation, mantra, and samskaras. Means everything is divided into these three categories. Okay? Each and everything. With the type of water you drink, the type of place you take birth, everything has some type of a classification according to these three energies. Then Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the mode of goodness conditions a human being to happiness. The mode of passion conditions him to fruitive action. And the mode of ignorance, covering up his knowledge, binds him to madness. This is how we can begin to differentiate these three types of energies. The first one, sattvic, sattva guna, it will give enlightenment. It will give freedom. It will give liberation. It will give introspection, at the same time elevation of consciousness. Because sattva has a movement in and up. Rajas has the movement out, and tamas has the movement down. So rajas will push you out of yourself. Will make you very busy in the material world, doing so many things, so many projects, always, distracted by so many things. Very, I forgot this word. Anyhow, inquieto.
Restless.
Restless, very, very restless. This is Rajaguna type. So then tamas means darkness, ignorance, means you go very deep, you become stagnated, there is no movement, there is only laziness, there is abuse of drugs, abuse of meat, and so many things like that. Okay, now based on the three gunas, Patanjali, he described how consciousness evolves. So the first stage called Muddha, the tamasic stage, most ignorant way. Then we have Kshipta, which comes to the stage of Rajas, a little bit better. Then Vikshipta is a mixture between Rajas and Sattva. Then Ekagra means one-pointed Sattva. Then you come to the stage of Sampragyata Samadhi. The first stage of Samadhi, this is called Ekagra, means one-pointed Sattva, only Sattva. But Sattva is still material. We should not mistake Sattva for anything spiritual. For instance, when you go to India, you visit so many places, right? So many holy places are there. And you come inside of those places, or you approach some mountain or some lake, you feel some very, subtle type of energy, you feel some type of, freshness, and consciousness go very high. But don't mistake this as being any type of a spiritual experience. This is actually just the experience of Sattva Guna. So if that can make you feel very good, what to speak of the spiritual reality itself? Because the spiritual dimension is beyond the material world. It is beyond even Sattva Guna. This is called Nirguna stage. Okay? This is the next one called Nirodha. That is the real Asampragyata Samadhi. So Nirguna means no gunas. It is beyond the material world. So Sattva is very good, very nice, but it is still material. We don't want Sattva. We want even to transcend Sattva. But to begin our spiritual practice, we have to first come to Sattva Guna. That's why it's so important to follow some rules, some regulations, like the yamas and yamas that Patanjali gave. Become vegetarian, don't intoxicate yourself, don't have illicit sexual relations, don't gamble. If you follow all these rules, what will happen? You become sattvic. And by the presence of Sattva Guna, then the desire for dharma will manifest. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, I'm going to show that later. Okay? So, said that about the three gunas, we must now understand what is the meaning of yoga. Because we are talking about yoga. Vedanta means yoga, Ashtanga yoga means yoga, and Ayurveda also means yoga. So what is the meaning of yoga? According to the Vedas, there are three different ways to understand any type of subject. Aghyarudhi, Sadharanrudhi, and Vidvadrudhi. Aghyarudhi is in a mode of ignorance, based in rajas or tamas. For example, if I ask you what yoga means, if someone is in this stage of rajas or tamas, what answer he will give? Oh, yoga is like stretching the body, doing some exercises, some relaxations, right? That is the lowest comprehension of what yoga means. But if he is a little bit higher in Sattva Guna, he comes to Sadharanrudhi. Sadharanrudhi means the etymological meaning of that word. So yoga comes from the verbal root called yuj, which means to link, to unite. To unite what? The soul and God. So this understanding is a bit deeper. Now there is something spiritual there. But when we come to the nirguna stage, to the transcendental stage, this is called Vidvadrudhi. And that definition will come by the experience. How the conventional usage as understood by the self-realized souls. So that we cannot convey directly in words, because that needs my realization, also your realization. Because there is not enough words to describe what that yoga means in the experience itself. But something we can share, and that's what I'm trying to do in this presentation. I'm going to a little bit try to bring you closer as possible, as close as possible to the Vidvadrudhi conception of yoga. Okay? That's why it's so difficult when the sages, the yogis, the gurus, they come and they try to speak. It's very difficult because if the audience is not qualified to understand and to realize how they can communicate. So I would like to come here and just speak about love, just speak about devotion. But before that, we have to set up a lot of philosophical conceptions, because you might not have the proper understanding of love, or not, you maybe even not understand what is my concept of love. So we cannot go directly to the emotional side. The emotional side comes after you have the philosophical background very well established. Otherwise, your heart can cheat you, as it has done many times. Isn't true? How many people have been cheated by their hearts here? I think everyone, including myself. Because the nature of the mind and the heart is to cheat, because it is under darkness, under illusion. So only when you are enlightened by the proper knowledge, then you can understand and put your love in the proper way in this world. Okay? So, how can we define then yoga according to this Vidvadrudhi? That is the whole challenge of this presentation. Okay? Now in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, perform your balanced duty, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. So this is the definition of Krishna about yoga. What Krishna is saying, Samatvam yoga uchate. This is how Krishna begins to define yoga. Means to achieve equanimity. What is that equanimity? Equanimity means to see the world from the absolute perspective. To see the world from the eyes of God, not from your eyes. Not from where you are standing. So from where I am standing, I see the world in so many different types of varieties. I see man, I see woman, I see animals, I see trees, I see everything. But I cannot see the soul, I cannot see the Paramatma inside of everything. So to achieve that vision, that universal vision, this is called yoga. And what is Patanjali's definition of yoga? Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga means to eliminate the oscillations of the chitta. I have not translated this word chitta here because it is a very difficult word to translate. You will find very often this word being translated as mind or as heart, but it is not like that. Chitta is something else. Chitta we can call the mind of the soul. So we have two minds. The material mind, which is called manas, which comes in the subtle body, along with buddhi and ahankar. But you have the chitta, which is the mind of the soul. It is where the soul will have the spiritual realization. This is called upalobdhistanam, the place where your spiritual realization will happen. It happens in the chitta. Okay? So what is this oscillations of the chitta? It is the influence of ahankara, buddhi and manas. The influence of the false ego, the idea that I am this body, I am Swami Mahavir, I am Brazilian, all these things. The material intelligence and the material mind. So, and Charaka also says, body and mind are the sides of illness and also of happiness that is equal to the state of health. The balanced use of these is the cause of happiness. So Charaka used the word balance. So the balance means when you balance something, you stop with the oscillations, right? So he's in the same line of Patanjali. To stop the oscillations, to come to the balanced state, this is called yoga. And he says that this is the cause of happiness. Means yoga causes happiness. What type of happiness? Transcendental happiness. Then Patanjali here, he explains, the chitta is suffering from the agitations of the ego, mind, and the manas, means the subtle body. Okay? This is what actually we have to control at first. Then for you to see better, first we have the soul. The nature of the soul is Satchitananda. Sat means eternity, Chit means consciousness, Ananda means bliss. When the soul comes in the material world, it produces the Chitta, which is its own mind. Chitta is like a mirror. So in order the soul to check and see itself, needs a mirror. And the Chitta is that mirror. So below the Chitta, we have the influence of Ahankar, Buddhi and Manas. And this is all that the practice of yoga has to control so that the Chitta can be free to have the self-realization. Is it clear? If you have any doubt, you please stand your hand, lift your hand, you can ask any questions, okay? So now I am asking one question to you. The question is, are all these definitions of yoga the full definition or not yet? Not yet. Why? Because here they are only describing the process to achieve that yoga. How to be in equanimity, how to be in a balance, how to eliminate the oscillations. This is not the yoga itself. This is what will cause the yoga. But what is the yoga itself? That is what we have to understand, okay? That will come. Then in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna said, by increasing sattva, the dharma, which is characterized by bhakti for me, becomes prominent. One can strengthen sattva by cultivating sattvika activities. From that, sattva dharma arises. Thank you. So I mentioned to you before, the reason why we have to follow many rules, so that we will come to sattva guna. And only when we are in sattva guna, the natural desire to follow the dharma will manifest in our heart. What is that dharma? That dharma, Krishna says, is bhakti for me. Means devotion to God. Right? So therefore, some people say, no, I can smoke ganja, I can take LSD, I can take ayahuasca, and then I go to the spiritual reality. You're not going to the spiritual reality. You're going to a very subjective reality that is a result of the influence of those substances and your own, your own subconsciousness, your own anarthas. Anartha means all the bad habits that you have in your heart. That all combined will give you that experience. But that is tamasic. This is not sattvic. If it would be that easy to have spiritual realization, the whole world would be taken, including Krishna and Arjuna. They would not be fighting in the Bhagavad Gita. They would be all drinking and be all happy. But things are not so easy like that. Not so simple. It requires some type of endeavor and discipline so that you come to the point of sattva guna. Then only then the desire to serve God can appear in your heart. Then Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, a very famous verse, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can unite with me. So who is going to give you that knowledge, that insight? This is Krishna, this is God Himself. No one else. To perform this yoga, to link yourself with Krishna, He has to conduct, He has to bring you. You can't go by yourself. So therefore, the process of yoga is a process of humility, is a process of prayer, is a process of putting yourself subject and surrender to the will of God. Different than many yogis who think that just by following some exercises, some practice, some techniques, they are going to be enlightened without any type of consent or permission from God. That's not going to happen. Always remember, the absolute truth is not an object on the shelf that you can go and reach when you desire. The absolute truth is a person, is a personality, is a living person who has love, feelings, and its own will. That only when He wants, you'll be able to reach Him, not before. So therefore, we are not trying to just randomly, in an egoistical way, trying to achieve this so-called enlightenment. We are trying to actually become the servants of God. If I will become enlightened or not, that's not into question. I'm not even endeavoring for any type of enlightenment. We only endeavor to become servants of God and follow His will and serve Him. This is the real dharma. Those who want liberation, those who want mukti, moksha, those who want enlightenment and mystic powers, they are very selfish. Very selfish. But this process is to give up selfishness and to put yourself completely at the lotus feet of God, of Krishna. Okay? So then again in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, this divine energy of mind, which consists of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered to me can easily overcome it. So I just mentioned that. This energy of mind, he's saying, this is Maya. This is Maya Shakti. And Maya produces the three gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Right? Very difficult, Krishna is saying. You cannot cross this only by your own endeavor. You need my help. So take shelter of me, then automatically you can overcome this influence. I was talking earlier about this. You asked about this, no? So this is the verse. Then again, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, a yogi is greater than an ascetic, greater than the empiricist, and greater than the fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, under all circumstances be a yogi. And of all yogis, he who with great faith always dwells in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders me transcendental loving service, is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So who is the king of all yogas? This is Krishna. He's the one who is presenting yoga to the whole world. It's not Shiva, it's not Patanjali, this is Krishna. Others are only manifesting, conveying, teaching, but the source of yoga is Krishna. And Krishna told Arjuna, there are many types of seekers, ascetics, scientists, there are many types of materialistic people. Don't be like them. Be like a yogi. Okay, what type of yogi? Among all the yogis, you try to be the bhakta, the devotee, the one who is always trying to serve me with love and surrender unto me. He is the best yogi. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that very clear, that Bhakti Yoga is the queen of all the other yogas. And all the other yogas are actually part of Bhakti Yoga. They're all part of Bhakti Yoga. Actually, they can only be called yoga because they have some bhakti in it. Because without bhakti, karma can never become karma yoga. Without bhakti, jnana can never become jnana yoga. They will only be karma or jnana, but not jnana yoga, not karma yoga. So devotion is present in all the yogas. Bhakti is not a separate yoga. Bhakti is within all the other ones, and all the other ones are within bhakti. That is how it can be called yoga, otherwise not. There is no such a system of yoga without bhakti. And that's what I'm going to show to you, how Patanjali, he also advocates yoga very clearly. Very clearly. But unfortunately, so many followers of Patanjali, they will say, no, yes, a little bit of bhakti is okay, you can chant some mantras, no problem. But the real practice is pranayamas, asanas, meditation, how to realize that you are this, this divine, all these things. No, Patanjali never said all these things. And I'm going to show to you this. So now, we're going to enter a little bit deeper in Patanjali Sutra. Patanjali says, Tada drashtu swarupi avastana. The beholder will behold his own spiritual form. Now we come back to the chitta, okay? When you realize who you are, you will watch yourself in the mirror of the chitta. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the golden avatar, who came 500 years ago, he said, Cheto dharpana marjanam. In order to realize who you are, you have to clean the mirror of the chitta. Cheto means chitta, dharpana means mirror, marjana means to clean. So how to clean this mirror of the heart? For what? To see yourself, to watch and have this as Patanjali is saying. Then, Swadhyaya Ishtadevata Samprayogaha. Through self-study, there is union with your worshipable deity. Now note one thing. Now he's saying Samprayogaha. Not only yoga, Samprayoga. The complete yoga is happening now. Is it another definition of yoga or not? What is this definition he's saying? When you unite with your Ishtadeva. Ishtadeva means your worshipable aspect of God that sits in your heart. So actually, this is the real yoga. So this is another step that I wanted to explain to you as the Vidvaduruddhi definition of yoga. But still, it's not the maximum aspect of the definition. We can go even higher than that, okay? Then, Krishna says in Bhagavatam, a person should be attentive and serious and never lazy or brooding. By mastering the yogic procedures of breathing and sitting properly, one should practice fixing the mind on me at sunrise, noon and sunset. And so gradually the mind should be completely absorbed in me. So you notice that Krishna told, okay, you learn asana, you learn how to do pranayama, very nice. Now you are aligned, now you are in sattva guna. Now what you're going to do now? You're going to sit and meditate on me. Now, why we learn all these things, these techniques? To be able to perform bhakti yoga only. And Krishna says 3 times a day. We chant Gayatri 3 times a day. Nah? You should meditate on me 3 times a day. He's saying morning, noon and evening. Sunrise, noon and sunset. So, if you study the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, Krishna is talking to Uddhav. There he explains everything about Ashtanga Yoga. Everything. That was spoken 5,000 years back. Patanjali came much later. Much later. Patanjali is around 3,000 years or so. So Patanjali, he just, systematized everything. So as we used to say that all the yogas are inside of Bhakti Yoga. So the Bhakta, he has achieved the perfection of all the other yogas when he is perfected in Bhakti. Automatically, a Vaishnava means the devotee of Krishna, he has all the mystic powers developed. He has all the perfections developed. He has all the Vedic knowledge manifested. All the results of performing fire sacrifices, pilgrimage, everything he already accomplished. Everything. He's not an ordinary personality, I'm telling you for sure. But he'll never want to display and to show all these things, never. Why? Because otherwise the people, they will get bewildered and they will also think, okay, I want this mystic power also. I want, this thing. They will forget about devotion. So devotion is the main point. If you have mystic powers or not, that's secondary thing, right? So we have seen in our gurus, they also have seen how they displayed sometime some very, mystical, behavior, uncommon things, but it is rare because they cover everything. They don't want to let these things, speak too much. Otherwise, bhakti will become covered by these things. So they show themselves as a very ordinary person, very simple person, but full of love and devotion. That is what actually they want to show to us. Then Patanjali says, Samadhi Siddhi Ishvara Pranidhanat. The perfection of Samadhi is devotion to Ishwar. Now you can very clearly understand that Patanjali is talking about bhakti, about devotion. That is the perfection of Samadhi. But let us analyze this word Ishwar, right? What this Ishwar could be? Ishwara means the supreme controller, okay? Or the controller in general. So, according to the Vedic conception, God has three aspects. Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahma. Three of them are Ishwaras. Three of them are controllers. They have their own duties. So, first Brahma. Brahma is the light. Brahma is the impersonal aspect of God. It is the light, the effulgence that comes from the body of Krishna that creates this aura, this light that encompasses all the creation. Some people think that God limits himself to that only. So let us consider that Patanjali is referring that Ishvara means this impersonal God. What is the problem if we consider Ishvara as Brahma? The problem is that Brahma is a light. And with Brahma, you cannot have devotion. You can't serve the light. You cannot serve only energy. Service means reciprocation of loving relationship. But what can you do to the light? How can you serve light? How can you interact with light? So therefore there is no bhakti to light. There is only contemplation. But Patanjali said that the perfection is not contemplation. The perfection is devotion. You're not only watching God, but you must be there and serving Him, loving Him. Okay, so it cannot be Brahma. Now let us try Paramatma. Paramatma is the expansion of God in each and every atom of the universe and also in the heart of every living being as the witness. So when we say that God is omnipresent, He is really omnipresent. He is inside of every atom in the form of Paramatma. So suppose this Ishvara means Paramatma. What is the problem in this devotion or this perfection be towards Paramatma? The problem is that Paramatma, although he has a form, he is like a Purusha. He has arms, hands, legs, head. The problem is that Paramatma, he is not an eternal, aspect of God present in the transcendental world. Paramatma is an expansion of God that only exists in the material world. So Paramatma cannot be the Ishtadeva, the worshipable deity of anyone. Why? Because the relation with Paramatma cannot be eternal, only temporary. So be very careful. If you are a yogi or a yogini and you meditate on Paramatma and you want to merge yourself in Paramatma or you want to serve Paramatma, be careful. Because Paramatma will not be with you in the transcendental world. He only exists in the material world. So Ishvara cannot be this Paramatma also. So the only last option is Ishvara means Bhagavan. Means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which displays unlimited pastimes, which is full of sweetness, full of sweet qualities, and beauty, attractiveness. So that is Krishna, that is Rama, that is Narayana, that is Nisringha. To some extent, one aspect of Shiva as well, because Shiva also has one divine aspect, okay? But cannot be any other one. Then what Brahma? Brahma is the demigod which creates this world. What he says about Ishvara? He says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, known as Govinda, is the supreme deity. He has an eternal and blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of everything. He has no other origin and is the primeval cause of all causes. So it's not more the Swami Mahavir who is saying that Krishna is Ishwar, but this is Brahma, the creator of this world, who is saying he's the father of Shiva, he's the father of all the sages, he's our first guru. He's saying Krishna is the supreme Param Ishwar, the supreme controller. Now, Patanjali brings a very interesting point. He says, Ishvara is a divine person untouched by afflictions, karma, and reactions. Something very interesting, a little funny happened today. In the previous place, there was one guy whose name was Ishwar, and he was asking me a question, trying to say that all of us are God, and we can realize that we are God by meditation. And because his name is Ishwar, he thought that was an indication that definitely he is God. So I was very, very polite with him. I said, maybe you have this conception, we have a different conception. But what Patanjali says about Ishwar is very interesting. Patanjali says Ishwar can never be touched by karma, by afflictions, by reactions, by illusion, by anything. And what to speak of us? We are searching for yoga to get rid from our sufferings, from our illusions, from our karmas, from our mundane attachments. So how can we be God? If for even 1 second we were bewildered by Maya, for even one day in your life you suffered, how can you be called God? You can't. So I know it's very seducing, it's very attractive, the idea to be God. Because we are so insignificant, we suffer a lot. Then sometimes someone comes to you and say, oh Prabhu, actually you are God. You are not only this, fallen jiva. It's very, very attractive, very, like seducing for the false ego. Okay, before I was nothing, now I am God. Okay, so let it be. I believe this man because he is, like half naked. He has dreadlocks, big beard. His eyes is like half closed. He seems to be, very elevated. He's telling me I'm God. I must believe him. See, all this is like Maya. All this ignorance trying to seduce us and bring us down. But if someone comes and says, no, you are just a servant. And your value lies on being a servant. That's your value. That's what makes you great. If you try to be something else, then you can't be great. Because great only God can be. Anyone have been to India here? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Mother also have been to India. Okay, nice. In India, in each and every corner of India, you find one avatar. In the next corner you find many Shivas, many Krishnas. Then you begin to analyze how was the life of Shiva, how was the life of Krishna, and you look at the life of these people and say, oh, you can't compare. This man, he's the whole day chanting Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Shiva, he drank a notion of poison, hala poison, very, very powerful poison, could kill the whole world. Shiva, he drank the whole poison to save the world. Can you drink a milligram of poison? You can't. Socrates died by drinking poison. Anyone will die. Krishna, he lifted a huge mountain with the middle finger of his left hand for 7 days, 7 nights. Just to say one example. He swallowed the forest fire in his mouth. Can we do these things? We cannot. We are bound to go every day to toilet. We are bound to take bus and go to work. We are bound to be in illusion. So just think about yourself. Can you be God? If God, by any reason, wanted to become myself or yourself, I'd rather to become an atheistic. Because this type of God does not, fulfills my heart. My God is the Almighty. What God wants to experiment inside of your body. Why God wanted to be you, to suffer, to experience misery in this world, to live all types of nonsense. How is it possible? So I become a little bit emotional because God is our life. God is our Lord. He deserves something much better than just be compared to myself. So I'd rather to become an atheistic, to worship a God that needs to be people like us, conditioned, suffering, limited, depressed, ignorant, to say the least, right? But if you want to feel yourself great and very uplifted, then accept that you are the servant of God. Once you have this link, bus, all the bliss will manifest, all the love and everything will come, and your life will become completely blissful. But there is only one way. There is no other way. So, next time if someone tells you that you are God or he is God, you quote this verse from Patanjali. That Ishvara can never be touched by any type of material miseries. Okay, so again in Srimad Bhagavatam is being told, thus established in the mode of immaculate goodness, means Shuddha Sattva, the person whose mind has been enlivened by the cultivation of Bhakti Yoga, by the Supreme Lord, becomes free from all material contamination and obtains realized knowledge of Shri Krishna. So if you want to become free from all the material contamination, you perform bhakti, you perform devotion. I know that although philosophically speaking, most of the people, they are not into bhakti, right? They are more into meditation and things like that. But nevertheless, everyone loves kirtan. Everyone loves the mantras. And chanting mantra is the best practice of bhakti yoga. Everyone begins to dance, ecstatic. Everyone feels something very special when there is music, when there is kirtan. Because this is the connection by bhakti. This is the devotion that comes from kirtan. Then as soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of the modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire and craving, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and becomes completely happy. I didn't say that. As before I told, now Sutta Goswami is saying in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sutta Goswami is one of the greatest sages from all times. So he says that as soon as bhakti, loving devotional service, is established in the heart, then automatically tamaguna and rajaguna will go away. Means, what is the only way to remove darkness from the room? Is to switch on the light. In 1 second, darkness will go and light will stay. If you try to first push out darkness and then bring light, it won't happen. You can't move out darkness without bringing light, right? So in the same way, you cannot be cured from a disease before drinking the medicine, right? So first you have to establish yourself in bhakti, in devotion, very strongly. Then by the power of love and devotion, what will happen? All your bad tendencies will automatically leave yourself. So there is also another common misconception that first I have to become perfected, then I will achieve the full, devotion. No, no, no. First devotion must come. First bhakti must come. Bhakti is like the medicine. Once bhakti is established, then all the darkness will go from our heart. Okay? So sometimes people, they become so much focused in the problems. They want to go to therapy, this and that, this and that. I say, okay, you can go. But if you do not bring any positive thing to your life, the bad things will never go away. And what is the most auspicious thing that you can put in your life? This is your relation with God. So why miss this opportunity? Krishna has come in this world. He has already revealed himself. He told, I am God and I'm here for you. Now you just worship me, he says to Arjuna. Now just become my devotee. The only way to bring auspiciousness in your life is if you bring God in your life, because God is the all auspicious. Mangalam magalam etam mangalam maduram maduram etam mangalam mangalanam. God is the auspiciousness of all auspicious, and he is the sweetness of all sweetness. God is all sweet, God is all auspicious. So if you bring Krishna in your life will be sweet and auspicious. That is a fact. Then Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and moon, the syllable Om in Vedic mantras. I am the sound in the ether and the skill in the human beings. From this verse, I just want one line. This is called Shabda Ke. Shabda Ke means I am the sound in ether. Sound in ether, there is a very important teaching here. First of all, you have to understand about the elements. We have 5 elements, right? These elements, they have a proper sequence of manifestation during the creation process. The first element to be created, this is ether. Ether means space. So if you want to create something, you have first to open the space. So ether is the first. In that ether, Krishna appears in the form of sound. And that divine sound, the Om, in the form of Om, it brings life to that space. So Krishna occupies the space in the form of sound, Om, the divine vibration. In the Bible we say in the beginning was the verb, in the beginning was the sound. That sound means the Om, divine vibration in the very beginning of the creation. So, along with the ether element comes the sense of hearing, because the sound appeared. So the sound stimulates the sense of hearing. So we have the connection between one element and one sense. So after the ether, we manifest the air. Why? Because air has sound and touch. You hear and you feel the air. So following the same logic, I'm asking now all of you, what is the next element to be manifested? Following the connection between elements and senses, what will be the next?
Water.
Agua, water. Why?
Emotions.
Emotions.
After the physical sense and the internal sense. Yeah.
Anybody else wants to suggest something?
Earth.
Earth, why?
To ground.
To ground, okay. Anybody else? Any more suggestions? The next element is the fire.
Only one left.
Why the fire? Fire has sound, fire has touch, and now has the extra one is the sight, vision. What is the next one? Then is water. Because water has all these three plus taste. And the last one is earth. Earth has the aroma, means the smell, sense of smell. So this is the process, very scientific process, which I actually explain much better in another lecture about the mantra, the power of mantra. This lecture will be on 23rd, 24th of April in another place. I don't know what is the place. We will say later, no problem. So in that lecture, I developed this very, very clear because I have to show how the sound is permeating all the, so sound is present everywhere. So here, now I want to connect this by saying one thing. You remember about the chitta, right? The chitta is the place where you have the spiritual realization, right? About your soul, about your divine, worshipping deity. The chitta dwells in the ether. Okay? The chitta dwells in the ether. So, what is the best way to achieve happiness is when you unite with God, right? So, what is the word in Sanskrit for happiness? Anyone knows? Sukha. So, su means to expand, and ka means ether. Now think, what happiness has to do with expansion in the ether? I see how Sanskrit is complex and deep thing. So, the more you expand your chitta in the ether, the more you expand your causal horizon. Causal horizon means the more you can see further the cause, further of everything, the more close you are to God, because God is the cause of all causes. Right? What is the opposite of happiness is unhappiness. And what is the word for unhappiness in Sanskrit? Dukkha. Du means to contract, and ka is the same ether. So the more contracted is your causal horizon, the less you know about the cause of the things, and the more you suffer. So when you go to the psychologist, does he treat you and cure your disease? No. He will help you to understand the cause of your suffering, right? So he will make an exercise of expanding your consciousness. So when we come to Guru, when we come to the spiritual master, the only thing he does is this. He will keep expanding your consciousness till the maximum cause of all causes, that is God. And when you come to that maximum expansion, who you find there? Krishna. Because Krishna says, I am the sound in ether. Shabda ke. So Krishna says, I am there in the form of sound. So the only way to be happy is by chanting the names of God in the form of mantra, by expanding your chitta and making this yoga. The more you expand, the more you will realize your relationship with God, then the more happy you become. The less you know about God, the less you know about yourself, the more unhappy you'll be. The more depressed you'll be. You'll be contracted. You'll be contracted. Do you have yoga classes here?
Different ones.
Okay. So, when we come to the yoga class, are you a teacher also?
I'm not a yoga teacher, but I
Okay.
teach many other things.
Okay. So, You are a yoga teacher? Okay. So when you come, what's your name?
Larissa.
Larissa. When you come to Larissa's class, you are having some pain, some tension, some, suffering, something like that, right? And then you come to the class, and Larissa, she will begin to teach you some techniques to relax your body, to relax your mind through the breath and all these things. And then what happened? You are in tamas. Tamas means contraction. Then you begin to move your body. Movement means rajas, means movement. So you begin to liberate those, tensions. The tensions begin to flow, so they are in Rajaguna. And then the more you practice, then you go to the balance that is Sattva-guna. Then you come out of the class feeling so light and so relaxed and say, oh my God, this is so nice, I must come next day, right? Then you go back home, then you come back to your routine, and gradually you start moving back from Sattva, then Rajas again, you are in Tamas. Next morning you are full Tamasic again. And then you have to wake up for the lecture, for the class, and then you look to the watch and say, no, better I sleep a little more, I might go to class next day. So this is our condition. We become like this, like a pendulum, going from Sattva to Tamas, Sattva to Tamas, like that. So how to establish ourselves in this Sattva Guna, this is very important, to keep the constant cultivation of Sattva Guna. Then you'll be established in Sattva Guna. Then the desire to perform Dharma, means Bhakti Yoga, will manifest. And then by that, you begin to expand your Chitta, have the spiritual realizations, and then you have the final Yoga. So this is the real definition of Yoga. Not only contemplating your Ishtadev. That's the first impression. But after that, what you're going to do? You're just going to keep watching your Ishtadev? No, you go there to serve. So that service, this is called Bhakti. Okay? So Bhakti is the final, and also Bhakti is the process. Bhakti is the only discipline that it is the process as well as the perfection itself. Karma Yoga is not the perfection. Karma Yoga is only the process. Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, they are only the process. They are not the perfection itself. But Bhakti is both. Bhakti is both. Then in Chandogya Upanishad is told, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the source of true happiness. Nothing else can bring the real happiness. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead can bring happiness. For this reason, one should inquire about the Supreme Truth. Means Atattva Brahma Jigyasa. Our human life begins when we inquire. Atattva Brahma Jigyasa. What is the absolute truth? What am I doing here? Those very basic questions that we do. Who am I? From where I came? Where I'm going? Who is God? Basic things. Trivial. But nevertheless, very difficult. Very complex. Who is going to guide you? From where you're going to get proper information? If you don't go to the Vedas, you're going to be bewildered. But even if you go to the Vedas and you don't have a proper guide, a proper guru, you can also become bewildered. Even Vedic scriptures are subjected to Tamaguna. In the very beginning I told, Krishna mentioned, even the scriptures, they can become Triguna also. So Vedas, they can also direct you to some places which are not what we really want. And what to speak of that? Many misconceptions coming from that. Especially those who are advocating that we are God. That is a lot coming from India. Many people are coming and doing that and speaking like that. Right? And now, to conclude, Krishna says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Yoganam Atma Samrodho. Among the 8 stages of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, I am the final stage, Samadhi. So this is the final proof that in Samadhi you find Krishna. It can be any other manifestation of Krishna as well. I always want to make that clear. It's not because I am a devotee of Krishna that I must say that all of you are also devotee of Krishna. No. Krishna has other expansions like Narayana, Rama, Nrsimha, Buddha, etc. But nevertheless, you have to understand that somehow or other, you have some connection, some eternal connection with one of these expansions. Right? So in this way, I'm concluding here. You have any questions?
I actually have a question. What's the? I know that the meaning of the color orange has to do with the sacral chakra, but maybe there's also a different meaning.
The Swadhisthana chakra. This
Yes,
one.
So that's why you wear orange?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it helps with the control of the genitals. Our senses. Yes, it is related to that. Yes.
Okay.
But have you noticed we don't wear actually orange?
Yeah.
We wear pink.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a different stage. It's a different level of understanding. The common renounced people, they basically use orange. But in our case, we have a slight different influence, which is coming from Radha. You heard about Radha? She is the consort of Krishna. Actually, we talk about Krishna first because he is God and he is like the representative of all this. But behind him, there is the Shakti. You heard about Shakti, right? So Radha, she is the source of all Shaktis. So she is the one who is having the sole of her feet this color pink. So all of us, we want actually to serve Krishna under the guidance of Radha.
The feminine and the masculine.
Yes, because devotion is feminine. Bhakti is a function of Shakti. Bhakti is a manifestation of the Shakti. It's a feminine energy, right? So all of us, we are cultivating this Bhakti, this devotion. Whereas others type of renunciants and monks, they wear the orange, but they are not in the same line as we. They are not so deeply in this devotion, into the pure devotion. They are more into the jnana, or the yoga, or even the karma yoga, like that. Yeah, like that. So actually, anyway, this is another whole lecture about Shakti. It's also very, very important because many people, they like to also talk about, do some rituals, cultivate the relation with Shakti and all these things. But mostly they stop in Durga, which is Mahamaya, which is in this material world. But beyond Durga, we have so many other Shaktis which are superior even. The Lakshmis and Radha, Sita, Parvati, like that. It's a very beautiful, right?
Saraswati and Ganesh.
Very nice, very nice.
From India, my mom bought.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
I will give you one of Radha. Okay? Thank you.
I would like to know a little bit more of the seventh stage, or let's say the last stage, the samadhi. I don't know, I always thought samadhi would be the final stage and the transcendence to. But how do you see it? What is samadhi for you?
Yes, as I mentioned, we have two types of samadhis, right? Sampragyata and asampragyata. Sampragyata is still on the level of sattva, and asampragyata is in the level of nirguna. Means it transcended already this material influence, and this is the connection, direct connection between you and your Ishtadev. You are contemplating, this is the time of contemplation of you and your Ishtadev in the mirror of the Chitta. This is the asampragyata samadhi. So the samadhi, it is a, it is a process that happens in this material world. It is not part of the transcendental realm. So therefore, for us, it is not actually the ultimate stage. It is the beginning of the ultimate stage. Yes.
That's what I learned now in India, actually. And for me, I thought before I went to India that samadhi was the last stage. It was like after that. That was the level of samadhi when you...
It's not returning.
Yeah, but it's not.
No.
Actually. You
Yes.
can samadhi many times in this material life, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Samadhi is still a function of the mind. It is still a function that the material mind can capture. You are observing yourself in samadhi. And when you come with that memory also. So if the material mind can experience that, then it's not the ultimate thing. And even after that, I mean, I can't explain many things because it requires a lot of previous knowledge. I want to say so many things, but I can't due to lack of information. So many things. I could start a new lecture now for 1 hour or so. But yeah, but I think for now this is good. Yeah.
We also talk about Satchit Ananda. So Ananda is love.
Ananda is bliss.
Or is bliss. Okay.
Ananda means bliss is also a function of love. Because the result of experiencing love is bliss. Yes. You can only be in Ananda if you have first been in contact with love. Ananda won't come naturally. Ananda is a result of bhakti. When you are serving God, you are connecting, then love is being exchanged. So that exchange of love, that causes Ananda. Not only in us, but in God also. Krishna, he is known as Atmaram, Aptakam, self-sufficient, self-satisfied, right? God, he's not supposed to need anything. He's not supposed to desire anything. He's supposed to be always, complete, perfect, balanced. But it is not true. It is not true. God also, he desires many things. God also needs many things. And what he needs the most is your love, is your devotion. That he's missing. And he suffers because of that. Don't think he's not suffering, he suffers. You know why? Because he must set you free. He must. He cannot force you to love him, otherwise that would not be called love. Therefore, the free will is being given to every living entity, every soul. Why? Because only when the independence is there, love can be expressed spontaneously and truthfully. That's why we have free will. Because you can only express devotion through the free will. If Krishna would condition everyone to love and serve him, that would not be a real love. We'd be like robots. So in this way, Krishna is suffering right now. Not only him, all our masters, spiritual masters, they are also suffering. Say, why these people, all these living entities, why they are wasting their time trying to, be someone in this material world, trying to enjoy the material world. For what? They could quickly come and join me in the transcendental world, in bliss. But we are so attached to this material body that we think this is our home, this is our future, this is our everything, right?
One more question to Ananda. You said that it can only be reached, love can only be reached through bhakti.
Yes.
What about children? What about babies that love just by being?
Oh, okay. We are talking about different love.
Okay.
Actually, I was talking about spiritual love, transcendental love, and you're talking about material love in the sense. This is what we call the shadow of love. What we call love in this world is actually not real love, because real love must be completely selfish. And in this world, our love, selfless. Thank you, Maharaj. Completely selfless. But in this world, our love is somehow conditioned to be selfish. We bargain, We say, I love this person because it makes me happy. Right? So, And even if you say, no, there are some selfless, like mother and others, but it's still, the object of love is material, so therefore that love is also material. The love is also limited somehow. You can only have the pure love, spiritual love, when the object of love is also spiritual. Means when God is the center of that love. Then this is the real love.
Can the center of his love be the pure part in the heart that is in that other being, not the unmaterial part in the other being?
I didn't get, sorry.
So you said that love can only be pure if it is, can only be spiritual if the object is spiritual. And for example, mother love, can't it be love for that spiritual part of the being, of the baby, or of the child?
Because in the sense here, spiritual means what is divine. What is divine? Sometimes words, they fall short in meaning. We use, because English is very poor, Sometimes when you think in Sanskrit, we have different words for everything that does not get mixed up. But yes, when we mean spiritual, we mean something transcendental, which means the divine manifestation of God. We are not divine in the sense that we are not gods, right? But because we come from God's energy, we are created by God's energy, we have somehow a touch of spiritual, a touch of spiritual. We are similar to God in quality, but different in quantity. This is called achincha bheda bheda tattva. The inconceivable difference and non-difference between the souls and God. Right? So we are not totally different than Him, but also we are not Him. We are this mixed, mixture of both. But if you say that the mother might have love for the soul of that baby, right? For the soul of that baby. Yes, but still, devotion is not from being to being. Devotion is from beings to God. Yeah. But that love can be there, no problem. It is more than enough love. I'm not saying that is more than enough. And we need that also, right? But when we talk about love of God, this is something else, something irreplaceable, something that cannot be compared with anything else.